Welcome to Thrive and Shine, my first podcast with my first guest, Cam Barrett. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's going on? Cam Barrett, grew up in Northern Kentucky. College athlete, played 5 seasons. Currently a firefighter, bodybuilder. I mean, it's whatever I try and do it all.
Yeah. He also competed bodybuilding a year apart from me. I competed a year after you, or a year and a half.
Maybe like a little bit.
You were in April, I was in August. So we both have the same thing in common with bodybuilding. We train together a lot. He does a lot more weight than I do.
Football, you're a swimmer. Your endurance is wild, and I can lift more, so it's
usually towards the end of the workout, we're doing similar weight.
Oh, absolutely.
He gets tired.
No.
I don't, but I do a lot less weight than he does.
We're working on it.
So many people complain about the mental battles of prep and how you just towards the end of prep, you get prep brain, you forget things, you're always so tired, fatigued. What are some of the hardest mental parts for you during prep? Is it the low food, crappy training?
One thing I hated was not the pumps slowly began to fade.
Yeah.
But then, you get that blessing of a nice little blueberry muffin or something
you get a little refeed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I love food. So obviously that was a hard part. But, honestly, I feel like we kind of had the same mindset. Whenever we were going through it, you're like, how you doing? You're like, I'm good.
Yeah,
we're rocking.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But inside you're like, come on, 1 week, I get a refeed. Yeah. In 1 more week, I get some sushi. Or you get a blueberry muffin, and it's just
And it's when people ask, how much you have left? You're like, a month or two. You're like, I got 3 weeks, 2 days, and 3 minutes.
I have 87 days until I'm on stage.
Yeah.
And I get to have that first meal after the show.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Did you cheat at all on your meals?
So yes, but I asked my coach first.
I did not.
It was in. I went to New York to visit a good buddy of mine. It's February for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to my buddy's house. I'm like, hey, listen. I texted my coach. I'm like, all right, I may cheat a little bit. Is that all right? He goes, yeah, you're good. Just don't go crazy. And I remember we pulled up to my buddy's house. Think Italian, true Italian family. Come to dinner. They didn't expect us. They had this full spread of cannoli.
You're not going home hungry.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
And then we had pizza beforehand. So I'm like, but honestly, that day, we walked all throughout Manhattan. I think I logged 27,000 steps.
It's ironic that we're
the
New York background.
I probably walked around this entire
Yeah.
couple blocks for about a good 3 hours.
Yeah. The only time I cheated, some minor times, is you have 250 grams of rice and you're pouring it into your bowl and it's 253 and you're like, we'll roll with it.
I will say though, I cheated, but not intentionally. Did you hear about how I was miscalculating?
Oh, your rice?
My rice?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm glad we caught that earlier though.
Yeah.
So long story short, they said measure your rice, or grains in rice are measured dry, non-cooked. I'm like, okay, sweet. So in our, I think it was 200 grams of rice. I'm like, all right.
Of cooked rice was programmed.
Yes.
But
I was measuring 200 grams of uncooked rice. And I'm like, yeah, everything's going good. During our check-ins, I'm like, but the pre-workout meal, I feel like I'm eating rice for an hour and a half.
Just a massive
he's
popcorn-sized bowl of
literally
rice.
It was one of the salad-style bowls. And I'm just going to town.
An Olive Garden salad bowl. Yeah.
I felt phenomenal. My workouts were great. But Larry goes, yeah, you're not doing that right. And I'm like, that makes sense.
No, that'll do it. I had a watermelon in my program, which is candy, because you're not having any sweets, and then you have watermelon.
You had watermelon?
Yeah, I had watermelon, and I had apples, and just the natural sugar was candy. It was so amazing, and I would have however many grams of watermelon, and then if I had the rest of the watermelon, there's the extra juice in the bowl,
yep.
And drinking that, it was a soda. It was so
absolutely.
Perfect. What was your first meal post show?
Italian. It was
good Italian or Olive Garden Italian?
No,
because mine was Olive Garden.
Honestly, I wouldn't. Olive Garden would suffice, but it was buca di beppo. So it was like,
Yeah.
not like high class, but it was solid.
Is that a chain or is that local?
It's a chain. We were in Louisville, but there was one in Florence, in northern Kentucky. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we got the full spread, like pasta, pizza. Oh, in the middle of the night, cramps. I'm like, I don't feel well. But that's what it is. You live and you learn.
My fiance brought these Polish cookies. It was like blackberry jam on the inside. It's a gingerbread cookie, dark chocolate on the outside. Then we went from there to Olive Garden. I had like 6 bowls of the gnocchi soup, breadsticks, and they kept asking me like, "Do you want like a normal dish like pasta?" I was like, "I just want soup." Like I've been thinking about just this soup for 20 weeks. I just want the soup, and I had so much of it. And then I went home. I had cereal, Grater's ice cream. Pop-Tarts. It was like a Boston cream Pop-Tart, and I love Boston creams. I had everything. I had a bunch of other.
Shirley's?
That was the next day.
All right.
The next day I had donuts, and then we went to Cracker Barrel after the donuts and had pancakes, and then for lunch that day, then we went to Yamato and had all-you-can-eat sushi.
How much pounds you put in like the past the 2 days after?
Oh, like 10 pounds.
Oh,
easy. I went from I was 170 on stage, and 2 days I was 183, so 13 pounds. There's a lot of like water retention, a lot of carbs.
Absolutely, 100%.
But me and Vicky together, we put down like 86 pieces of sushi, crab ragoon,
all the fixings.
All of it is so much sodium. Like the vascularity was just insane.
Oh, the next day.
I've never had any edema though, any pitting edema.
Okay.
Like I know some of the guys that have competed, they get like really fat ankles post show from all the water and sodium, but I haven't had any.
Yeah.
Going through prep, what's your mindset? Like how do you stay motivated? How do you stay locked in? Is it you lean on a lot of friends, a lot of family? Is it just like mental grind?
I mean, it's kind of full circle for me. It's one thing my faith is something that's huge to me. So it's my mindset every morning was today is a blessing. Take advantage of it no matter what. Good, bad, indifferent. Guess what? This is the day that God gave you. Either you can like it or not, but you're gonna have to go through it. But the fact that I was able to wake up, I was able to challenge myself, to be able to grow, to get better. Some people don't have that opportunity. Like some people, I mean, I'm getting kind of deep here, but I mean, it's to be able to do bodybuilding and to go through the process of prep and to go on stage and give it your all. That is a huge blessing.
Yeah.
And that's something that you fully have to take advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah. We're blessed with good health, and a lot of people take it for granted.
Well, also it's like victim mentality
yeah.
I mean, goodness, I can go down the rabbit hole on this. Our society is soft.
Yeah.
And if you're taking offense to this, you're probably part of the issue. But
yeah, I'll wake up and I was like, just today, another day, another dollar. Yeah. I was just like, let's just do it.
Another chip off the pie.
I always said like, it sucks so good. Like it sucks, but like, I'm glad that this is the kind of suck I get to enjoy.
It's like you knew, like in your head, like you were getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you finish your workouts on prep and you're like,
it's a little
okay.
wins.
You're like, you always count like 3 more leg days.
Like, literally, that's how it was. Yeah.
You're like, I'm only 3 leg days away from being on stage.
Oh,
it's not like I get this many meals or I'm this close to like having these meals or I just get to relax. It's like 3 leg days.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I mean, leg days like at the beginning were great, and then like a month out, you're like, all right, let's go do this.
No more, please, no more. And then like you get like death rows in your program, which is like it's like training and doing cardio. It's you do a deadlift and then you do a row at the same weight, and you're like holding onto the barbell the whole time. Deadlift, barbell row, back and forth for a minute.
Yeah. And
then you do it 3 times or 4 times.
I think I did it with you.
Yeah, it sucks.
And when I looked at the video after, I got like 18 reps. So essentially that's 36 reps total.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Oh, it's so much fun you never want to have again.
Yeah. I know I wasn't really going and talking to that many friends. I was kind of isolated.
Yeah.
I mostly just talked to Vicky and like family, and like that was it.
Yeah. I feel like it depends on the person. Like towards the end, I started to get like, Claire would, my girlfriend, would be like, "You want to go out and do this?" I'm like, "I have absolutely no interest in doing that." Like, "You want to go to a concert?" I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, I'm like, then like I'll be moving around. Then my meals will be pushed back, and it's like everything just gets off time. I can't do this.
That was probably like 4 weeks out, but like even like before, like at the beginning, I remember like, her family's Italian. You know, they love to do it all, and when they do it big. And I think we went to like some Italian spot or American style food, and they were eating, I think it was the Eagle.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know what the Eagle is, an amazing American style restaurant, fried chicken, Southern style cooking, and they got like
food makes you fat.
Oh, it was great. But I pulled up with my chicken and my rice, this, that, and the other, and the waitress goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on prep." She goes, "Oh, I got you. You're good."
Yeah, we went on a family trip, Talking Hills, and we went to a restaurant, and my family's asking like, "Okay, what are you gonna order?"
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "I don't know, like I got to go talk to the chef because we're like hours away."
Yeah.
So I went back by the kitchen. It was like an open kitchen, so it wasn't like walking in the back and like, "What's up, guys?" I went to the chef and I was like, "Could you make me 185 grams of chicken breast with no seasoning and no oils?" And she's like fried, anything? I was like, "Just plain white chicken breast, 185 grams, cooked. Like 185 grams cooked, not raw, cooked.
Like, make sure you get it right.
No oils.
Yeah.
You can use salt and pepper."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Sure, yeah, I can do that." And I was like, "Great."
Yeah.
I went back to our table, and my family has all their huge, great meals, and they brought my plate out, and it was just like the chicken basically blended in with the plate. It's just a white plate, and the chicken, just 2 pieces of plain chicken and a glass of water. And I was like, "Yep."
Did you have a go-to sauce in prep?
Frank's Red Hot was definitely a staple. I probably went through a bottle like every week. But I did try finding some other sauces. I got to try using some Walden Farms. There was a couple like teriyaki sauces that were like 0-calorie teriyaki sauce. That and my chicken and my ground beef.
I think Kinder is
was
really
a game changer.
Good
Yeah, it was Kinder.
Yep,
it was Kinder. I used 2 different kinds of other sauces. I couldn't remember which one. Going back to the food, my birthday was 4 weeks before my show. So, and my grandpa's birthday is 1 day after mine. So we have all of me and my grandpa's favorite foods, cakes, like fried chickens, bunch of different meats, and like casseroles, everything. And same thing, I had like my plain white rice and my plain chicken, and like everyone's eating my favorite foods. And you're like, I'm like, this just sucks. They're like, "Oh, can you just have 1 cupcake?" I'm like, no, I can't.
Absolutely not.
I wish I could. Like, put it in the freezer and I'll have it in 4 weeks.
No, Mom.
Yeah, so that sucked. And I was like, just come on, not my birthday. So that's the kind of like picking your poison for picking a show day is, do you want to skip Christmas? Do you want to skip Thanksgiving? Do you want to skip your birthday?
You're sacrificing something.
Yeah, there's some holiday, some gathering.
Something's going to come up. You're going to be like, oh. Yeah.
Like families' birthdays. You just got to like outweigh the pros and cons of what events you're going to miss the most and which ones are more important to you.
That's one thing. It's like being present, though.
Yeah.
Even like if it's a big deal, like you need to be there.
Yeah.
And like don't just like sit in the corner and, oh, woe is me, I hate my life. Suck it up. You only live once. Yeah, you might see your family one more time.
Yeah.
It's a morbid thought, but it's like I could die tomorrow.
I saw a guy doing a video about that. It was basically breaking down. Like, say you average seeing your parents 4 times a year, depending if you're living far away or whatever. And they're going to live estimated average lifespan, like say 10 more years, depending on how old they are. And he's like, okay, you've 100 more visits. Like, you can see your parents 100 more times. Yeah. And then people's mindset changes. Like, I'm gonna see my parents. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go see them.
Yeah. Similar thoughts. Someone mentioned the ice is melting. I'm like, what are you talking about? The ice is melting. It's like the amount of time that you have left is like ice in a cup on a hot day. It's gonna melt.
Yeah.
Someday you're not gonna have any more ice.
Nobody makes that out of life alive.
Nope.
Unless you're Brian Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
You seen?
Well, the guy that's like 49 that has the body of like a 17-year-old or something like that, yeah.
That's why I was watching his documentary on Netflix. I didn't finish it yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good transition. What do you think most people don't understand about bodybuilding? What are common misconceptions they think is actually happening but not happening?
That's a good question.
I know a lot of people always assume like you're always taking steroids or you're killing yourself dieting so hard.
It's all about balance and consistency. I mean, whether you're taking steroids or you're enhanced or you're natural, you are going to be putting in work.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna suck, but it's sleeping consistently, getting good hours of sleep, taking the right supplements at the right time, meal prepping, or meal timing.
Yeah.
Eating at the right time, making sure digestion's good. So many minute things that you have to calculate and be meticulous about. That's where the progress and the gains show on stage.
What do you think about people prepping themselves? So I feel like I've ran into a good handful of people that I've asked them like are you like who's your coach, like because I know you used to did a show, like who's coaching you, like and like, oh, I coach myself. I was like,
mental fortitude.
I get it and I don't get it. I get that you can trust yourself and you can. It's kind of just like a system, If you're not losing weight, you lower calories, add cardio, but I think the hardest part is not having a second set of eyes. Because when I'm in my off season, I was like, man, like I'm kind of lean, and I was like 17% body fat, maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah, you think you're lean compared to like where you are at.
You think you're like a little bit lean, and you think you're like so small.
Yeah.
Because I was 205. No, yeah, I was 205 in my off season, and I was like, I am so tiny. Like I am so small. And then, you're getting prepped. You're like 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, and you're like, I look fat. Like you're like, I need to like eat less.
Like I'm a tub of lard.
Yeah. You're like, because you have days where you're more dry, or days you're more full. You're like, you either look flat, you look depleted, no energy. You're like, I look so small. Because when you're in the gym, you're like, I look freaking amazing. Like you're pumped up, muscles are full, you look great. And then once you're out of the gym, you're like, no pump, nothing. You're like, I look so small.
Dog water.
Yeah, you walk around your house with sweatpants and sweatshirt, like nobody look at me. Don't look at me.
Nope, not doing it. Nope. But it's like, I feel like people that prep on their own, like for me, I couldn't do it. I would try and bargain with myself. Oh yeah, if I have, this slice of pizza or this sweet, I'll do a little bit more steps. But it's like
you try to rationalize.
You rationalize everything to where it's like, honestly, give me the coach, tell me what I'm gonna do, and I will follow that plan to a T.
Yeah, I'm much rather have a coach and just be way more off hands and like, so I can be mindless. And this is what I'm doing. Okay, I'll do it, and I don't have to. The mental aspect's not in there. Like all I have to do is put in the work. And everything else is taken care of.
Well, it's like the second set of eyes that you mentioned. It's like you may, you're doing your posing, you're like, my back looks great. But you might be comparing yourself to what you used to be 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But your coach comes in and goes, all right, you need to work on your back. You're like, what do you mean?
You're like, my back's fine.
My back's fine. But it's like, no, you think that is one of your weakest points, so we need to bring that up. You're like, okay, heard, let's get to work.
Do you think you know your weakest points? Do you think you're a good critic of yourself?
I mean, yes and no. It's like the common question. It's like, what's your weakest point? And you'd name off like 5.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like my calves.
My calves. But then like my chest could be like,
yeah.
I would say for me, being very analytical is my back.
Your back?
My back.
Thickness or width?
Width.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a good thickness, but I want a wider width.
Yeah.
I feel like my legs have good size. Again, just the definition comes with prep and doing it properly. But yeah, that's a back. What about you?
Yeah, I always say everything because I was really small going into my show. Like I knew I needed to wait longer. But my philosophy was I can always wait longer. Like I can do a show now, and I know people told me like, oh, but you look better in like a year. You look better in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can do it now, and I can still do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it now, get down to an evenly proportional body fat percentage, understand how my body responds to things, understand my body in general, just come from like a knowledge perspective, not just and an experience as well. But I just wanted to do it to understand my body, understand prepping, go through the whole process, and I think doing that in the long run was way better for me.
Yeah.
I added all my weight back on really easy. Recomp strength was great, or reverse diet strength, I should say, was great. So I think in the long run, it was worth it for me. I can always push things off. I could do it in 10 years if I wanted to. I could take steroids and wait 12 years or however long. I can do it whenever I want. And I think people think prepping and cutting all the weight is setting you back. And short term, I think, yeah, but long term, I think it's beneficial.
It gives you perspective that's just going to slingshot you forward. I
Yeah.
mean, it's what your mindset, what's your goal. Everyone's goals are different. They want to achieve a different.
Yeah. Everybody wants to look their best on stage. Going back to what you were saying, I was really light on stage. My lowest was 163.8, so I was 205.4. Is like 41.8 pounds total loss.
Okay.
And 170 on stage, and I'm 6'1".
Okay.
So I was really small, and I knew that. I didn't know how small I was until
you look back
a little bit later, like 4 months later. I was like, I was tiny. Like I was really small. Like in the moment, it's easy to think you're bigger when you have a lot of definition, because definition adds so much visual size to you.
Yep.
So I was like, I look okay. Like I look fine. Like I know, like in the moment, I'm like, I look a little small, but like I feel fine. But I was really small.
Yeah.
I think my
bodybuilder chin and everything.
Oh yeah, the
prep chin,
death face. So I could have waited. I could have pushed it off, but with like the reverse dieting, recomping, I was up to 218 a couple months ago, and I was the same body fat percentage as I was when I was 205. Which I could have done the same thing. I could have waited at 205 and just kind of done like mini cuts and stuff. But I think I wouldn't have had the same look as I do now, or at least the knowledge I have now. Because having a coach, you get their knowledge passed down to you and just your own experience.
Their resources.
Yeah. So I think it was definitely worth it for me. I'm definitely going to be waiting a lot longer before my next show. Yeah. Because now like I kind of got out of my system. I learned what I need to learn, and I can push weight a lot harder. With like the knowledge I have, and I can coach myself now, which is another thing is we're talking about like the knowledge and coaching yourself. I think it's good off season, anytime like that, but prepping I think is different. So I have the knowledge to coach myself in my off season specifically, and I think I'm making great progress on my own right now.
Same boat right now.
Yeah, obviously you've made freaking great progress.
Yeah, I mean,
you're massive.
Was about 245. I think when I started prep at the beginning, I was probably 245, 250-ish, maybe 248. Got down to 211 stage weight.
Yeah.
And did a 4-month prep, so about 12 weeks.
Yeah, I think you did really short prep.
Super aggressive.
Yeah, he had a 12-week prep. I had, in total, is 20 weeks. It was like 18 legit weeks. Yeah. There's like a pre-prep phase, but
I remember I was maybe like 8 weeks, maybe 5 weeks out, and then I ran to you and I was like, hey, what's your diet look like? Said, I'm eating this, that, and the other, and I have a pint of ice cream every other day, and I'm like, I'm flying through a window right now.
My maintenance calories was 5,500. I was on that for 2 months. At night, I had half a pint of Ben & Jerry's.
Grocery bill's ridiculous.
Imagine. Yeah, that's one thing that's great about prep is you save a lot on food.
Oh, absolutely.
So my calories were insane.
But inflation's not going to help that. Right
now. And I was at 205, and it was 5,500. And now, when I was 218, my maintenance calories was like 3,600, which is another thing that I really benefited from post-show.
Post-show.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing, the next day after my show was Easter. Let's just say I gained a couple pounds, but we'll leave it at that.
How much have you gained since your show?
Okay, so I was...
Your lowest was 211, you said?
Yeah.
You think... Because I think you had 2 more weeks of prep in
Absolutely.
you.
I mean, that really would have toned up my legs, too, and brought that kind of full circle.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is. Right now, I weighed myself. I was 248 yesterday. I didn't...
It's large.
Yeah. But honestly, I feel like the definition of 248 now compared to where I was like 245 what, a year and a half ago is day and night. Strength is 10 times better. I mean, obviously, posing and cardio, I could definitely work on cardio, but posing's better, strength's better, definition, and I am excited for this next prep.
Yeah, posing's better thanks to me.
He knows what he's talking about, I will say.
Yeah. What do you think is some of the worst and best gym advice you've received?
Yeah. I think I started working out when I was probably like 13, 14, freshman, high school, getting ready for football. It was being consistent, making sure that each day you come in here, you are better than the last day. And you continue to build, just maybe 1% better.
Yeah.
But it's having that mindset. Worst, I don't know. I mean, because honestly, like when I hear something that's just out of pocket, I'm just like, all right, I forget it.
I've heard a lot of those
Yeah.
where they're saying some exercise, and you're like, you're not even like talking about the right muscle.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they say like, oh, just get in and work out. Like all you gotta do is just do something. And I think that is, it can be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it's also good advice at the same time.
It's like the cliche. It's like half the battle is getting there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great, you're in the building.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to utilize your time?
It depends, I think, on the goals. I think if you're, let's say, for example, running, just run. Just go and run. You'll eventually, you can get a program and get running a plan and kind of diversify how you're running. But for training, I think just going and doing it is not always the brightest idea. A lot of people, they ego lift, which is just going to injure you. I love it when I see people, they grab like a chestboard row and they do like a quarter range of motion, and there's like
back.
It's like all lower back. They're pulling the weight with their lower back.
It's like lat pull down.
Yeah.
Deadlift. I mean, you got cat back.
Yeah, or they're what's another good one? When people bench press and their butt is
they're just like humping the bar.
Yeah, well they push off their chest and their butt is 2 feet off the bench, and it's just like a decline press now, and it's not even a chest press anymore.
Yeah,
I was talking to a guy and I was asking, because he was doing 225. I was like, how many reps are you going for? Because he was asking for a spot, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna try getting like 8 to 10, and he wasn't a big guy.
Yeah,
but every rep, his butt was a foot off the bench.
Oh, just driving the bar.
I don't know if he could have done 2 reps with his butt on the bench. And you just gotta.
That's where you turn chest or bench press into a lower body exercise.
Yeah, and I hate to be.
I'm telling you right now.
Some people respond really well to, like, "Hey man, I just want to give you some advice. Like, here's what you should be doing better."
Yeah.
And some people are like, "I know what I'm doing. Like, you don't need to tell me what to do."
That's one thing. Like, touching point or advice: always be humble. There's always something to learn. You don't know it all.
You don't need to take their advice, but you should be open-minded and listen to their advice. Because I've given a bunch of people advice, whether they take it or not is fine, but at least being open to hearing advice.
And know where it comes from. It's like, I'm not going out of my way to be a dick.
And
I'm listen,
dude, your form sucks. You need to
just get the hell out.
Just quit.
No, we're not like, hey brother, try this. And be open to learn, to continuously learn.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's key to life, honestly.
Yeah. There was a guy doing a pec deck fly, and I was right next to him, and I was like, hey, you should probably go just a little bit slower and try getting a bigger stretch. Yeah. I said, your tempo is a little bit fast. And he says, my tempo is pretty freaking mint, dude. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
no.
I was
You're
like,
all right, guy.
I was like, I'm just gonna stop trying.
Yeah.
I'll just do my set and I'll leave.
I can kind of imagine like the type of guy that's like, oh, dude, mine's mint, just piss off. Like,
Yeah.
No, all right.
Like, I know what I'm doing. You don't know anything.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's another like I think big misconception is obviously Cam is way bigger than me, but regarding some stuff about training and nutrition, I have more knowledge.
Mhm.
But people would always think that he has more knowledge and more, I guess, experience
I mean,
with what to do and how to do it. But when you have like little nerds like me that spend more time reading books than they do in the gym,
he reads more books than I do. And like one thing, but also we've grown up doing different things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, all throughout my career in football, it was, all right, we're going to be explosive, be violent, throw weight.
mm-hmm.
And with you, it's
running and swimming.
running, swimming, we're going to utilize everything we have. And that's two different mindsets, but those are two facets that I feel complement each other, regardless.
Mhm.
We have strength and endurance.
Yeah, but I think so many people, they pick their coach based on how their coach looks, which I think to a degree is great.
Mm-hmm. Credibility, I mean,
Yeah,
part of it, yeah.
but a lot of people, they have all of the knowledge and maybe their physique's not as good as other coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Or some coaches might have an amazing physique, but maybe their knowledge is a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
The people always go with the one that's better looking because like, oh, they have more muscles. They must know what they're
They
doing.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it could be they have a coach.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they don't know a damn thing. And you're getting some bro science like, oh yeah, you're going to throw some weight on the bar, you're going to do it like this. It's going to sound nice and pretty, but you're going to get,
Yeah.
some
Not as good
hard gains.
results.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finding the right coach is definitely one of the biggest things that knows, like a coach that knows what they're talking about.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of coaches that have no idea what they're saying.
Mhm.
Like all of the Instagram coaches or like TikTok coaches.
Mhm.
Because I know a couple people that have gotten a coach that was like on TikTok, that was like promoting fitness on TikTok.
Mhm.
And they're like, results were like I got no results, and they had no idea
It's
what
like,
they were
is it a money
saying.
grab, or like are they truly trying to be an impact in the bodybuilding community?
I think so much of getting clients is not the knowledge you have, but the marketing you have.
Yeah.
Marketing is basically everything.
Mhm.
If you have no marketing, obviously nobody's going to find out about you
Yeah.
other than word of mouth.
Yeah.
So if you can't market yourself, then no one's going to know about you. No one's going to know the knowledge that you have. And promoting, like I said, explaining what you know on social media is basically how you're going to be marketing yourself.
Yeah.
Or you do like running ads, but
marketing, getting the client, that's one step.
mhm.
Next step is keeping the client.
Yeah.
How are you making them grow and get better?
Mhm.
I mean, you got to hit all facets.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to touch on supplements. What are your supplements that you're taking? What do you think most people take that they have no need to be taking?
Yeah.
Your staples in your diet or
Yeah.
your prep supplements.
My staples are probiotic, greens, apple cider vinegar. I take apple cider vinegar, greens drink in the morning. Creatine, just consistent with that. Let's see what else. I take a magnesium and zinc supplement. Magnesium before bed is a power move.
Yep.
I get some of the like.
Glycinate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Put the words right out of my mouth. And just because half the battle is what you train. You gotta train hard. You gotta eat hard.
Recover harder.
You gotta recover hard. It's a three-headed monster. You gotta hit all facets.
Yep. Does your watch do your sleep?
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I'm kind of a nerd. I like to track how I sleep, and it's so typically it's my resting heart rate. I was out and about. I was doing crazy stuff yesterday, so I was like maybe 58 resting heart rate last night.
Mm-hmm.
But my average is about 54.
I had my new sleep PR the other day, 98.
All right, I don't know what that means, but
Like 98 out of 100.
oh, okay, cool.
And my heart rate.
Is this Oura ring?
Yeah,
Okay,
my Oura ring.
Got it.
And my heart rate was 46.
Like that's legit. That's legit.
I was really happy with that.
Yeah.
I went to bed 9:30, blackout curtains.
Also power move.
and no phone, half an hour before bed or 45 minutes. And I read my book for 30 minutes.
Okay. Have you heard like the red light?
Red light therapy?
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
having red light on your phone, or like I think Huberman was talking about like red light glasses.
Yeah,
Have you
there's
heard about that?
blue light glasses and there's red light glasses.
Yeah.
I haven't read anything about the red light glasses, but I have a pair of blue light glasses that I'll wear if I'm doing any work on my computer. Like last hour, I'll wear my glasses if it's close to my bedtime, or I really just try to like not have my phone on me before I sleep,
Yeah.
because your screen is just promoting wakefulness, and just even though your phone's off and you're not looking at it, your mind is still awake even after your phone is off. People don't think about that. Like, oh, the phone's away. Like my brain's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna sleep. And people even still say like, I look at my phone and I fall asleep like a baby. Well, even though you're asleep, like your brain's still
working.
It's still
taking its
going
time
to calm
slow
down.
Yeah. One thing that I've been doing is breath work before bed.
Yeah.
That has been money.
Yeah. I kind of got Cam on some breathwork training. It's a free diving app actually. I've been using it for a while, but I think breath work is something that's really overlooked. I mean, you look at Wim Hof is like a major example of people that are experts in breath work, doing those kind of methods. There's triangle breathing, box breathing. There's so many different kinds of methods, but doing them, you can do trial and error. You can find out works best for you. But
It's what, free dive apnea?
Free dive apnea.
Yeah.
If you can track your heart rate and do each different method on different days, because if you do them back-to-back sessions, it's harder to tell what's working best. But if you could do, one day you do box breathing before bed, look at your heart rate, and next day you do like a Wim Hof method, or you do just other kinds of breathing before bed or before training, because you can do breathing before training. If you wanted to have more adrenaline, you can do basically hyperventilating.
Yeah.
And then I think you can follow it with, you can do it follow it with longer breaths.
Yeah.
But obviously you want to be lightheaded and then do like a heavy 4 or 5 squat and then pass out on the ground.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So I always do that before, like I do a heavy bench press, which is relative to my, everything is relative for heavy. I do hyperventilating through my nose, and I'll take big breaths. And then basically when you're getting your heart rate up, if you can increase adrenaline, that means you're increasing epinephrine. Epinephrine releases glucose in your body. And then basically hyperventilating is allowing you to use more glucose in your muscles for an exercise. So that's one method I always do. I did it before races for swimming. I didn't really know about it while I was running in high school, but I did do it when I was running in college and when I was swimming in college. So that was a really big staple for me. I didn't do it for any long distance races because I wanted to keep my heart rate a little bit lower. But any sprint race, relay race, anything like that, I always wanted to get my heart rate a lot higher by doing the hyperventilating, and always seemed to work way more than when I didn't do it. When I wasn't doing it, I felt like really loose. I didn't feel like I was like ready to go or fired up. You can do that. You can also just do smelling salts.
That's true. Smelling salts and caffeine is a hell of a drug, I'll tell you that.
There was another guy on my swim team. His name is also Jordan. And we would, before relay, would get in a line and crack a smelling salt, like the ones you crack under your nose. And we'd just jump off the...
get you going.
Yeah, you jump off the blocks and you're like, I'm going to kill somebody.
We were like, I was like, when our pregame ritual was like, we'd slam some pre-workout, dry scoop right to the dome, chug some water or Gatorade, and then smelling salts. And then we'd run out, game starts.
Yeah.
Talk about feeling your heart pound through your chest.
Yeah. I think being mentally ready is like one of the biggest things. People always say like running is 90% mental, which is true until you're going uphill. Yeah. And which is still, I guess, a lot of mental. But so many people are mentally unprepared for a lift. Like if you're going to go for a heavy lift and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get it.
You're
like,
gonna feel it.
Yeah.
The amount of times that like I've seen people like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but I'm like you're not gonna get it. I tell them that straight up.
Yeah.
It's like you need to go on that lift and say, I'm going to throw this weight.
Yeah.
Like
do you have a mantra you tell yourself before?
Whenever I'm going for a heavy set, I say a prayer. Well, essentially, one thing I told you this before, I'm like, God did not wake you up this morning to be soft.
Yeah.
Get the hell after it. But then it's like, I'll be under the bar, so I'm doing a barbell squat. I'm like, Lord, if I get this, I give it to you. If I don't get it, I give it to you. But we're going to fucking get this.
Yeah.
And just get to business.
I always say like,
excuse my language.
I always say I'm not gonna let myself fail this. Like I'm getting this.
Yeah.
And I say those two things back to back. Like I'm not gonna let myself not get this.
Yeah.
I'm getting this. And then like,
yeah,
it's going up.
Like you just gotta, I psych myself up.
Yeah.
Like I get lit before it.
Because I would say 9 times out of 10, if I'm like I don't think I'm gonna get it. Like I'm gonna try it, but like I don't know if it's gonna go up. But like I'll still try it. And just mentally not there, it's not going up.
I kind of do that with every set though. Like even if it's not like a heavy max out set, like I'm going into it like I'm gonna make this set my best one yet today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna grow in this set.
Yeah.
Once at a time.
It's hard to have that mentality every workout.
Oh, absolutely.
I know like some workouts I'm just trying to get in and out, which is better than not doing it. But I would say still like 9 times out of 10, like I'm dialed in my workout. I'm giving it everything I have. But sometimes you have those workouts where like I'm just getting in and getting out. Like I just need to do it. But I think that's still a lot more mental power than just I'm just not going to go today. Like regardless how I feel, I'm getting in the gym. I'm not going to be like I don't feel great. Like I'm just not going to go.
It's like if you do everything based on motivation, you're going to achieve nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like building something through principle and consistency. You're going to do some pretty cool things.
Yeah, I think people like have that I guess that stereotypical like like those gym bros that are like oh like I'm gonna get this weight like and they're like that's so like it's unattractive like I don't want to act like that in the gym like
okay cool
and they're
like
I'm just not gonna like it's so like weird I'm not gonna like scream in the gym or like and I guess like unless you're at Planet Fitness you can still train hard at Planet Fitness and not make noises but so many people don't know what training hard looks like.
Yeah. They're
like, I'll tell them, go to failure the set. Like, do your max effort to failure on this exercise. If it's a machine, free weight, doesn't matter what it is. If it's a run, go until you can't go anymore and then do more.
Yeah.
And they just don't know what failure feels like.
It's like
they haven't pushed past the barrier.
Like when we walked in the was it last week and somebody was doing leg press and we're like, all right, we're gonna make this set suck for you.
Yeah, we walked into we were doing a chest workout and there's someone doing leg press and we're like, we're gonna make this living hell for them.
Yeah.
And like our gym is like a community, like everyone knows everybody, everyone's really close, so it was fine. It wasn't like some random person that we're walking up to like
anybody and like trying to be assholes. We're like
we know them.
Yeah.
So they're doing leg press. And before they started, we're like, you're going to do a drop set. Like, you're going to do 3 drops. And you're going to increase weight, too.
So for those that don't know what drop set says, you start off with 4 plates on each side on a leg press. You do a set. All right, take a plate off each side.
Then take a plate off. And take a plate off. And you're going back to back to back.
Massive set, essentially.
Yeah. So they had 2 plates and a 25. And I was like, you're going to increase weight. And then you're going to do a drop set. So we put 3 plates on. Went to failure. We took the plates off. Then went to failure. 1 plate went to failure. Yeah. And then we walked away and did chest.
But it was like 2 plates or 1 plate. Like they would get to like 6 and be really slow. And like do 3 more, and then they just throw the next rep, and we're like, do 3 more. You know what I mean? It's like you psych yourself in your head where it's like, oh, I'm so tired. But like you can do more.
They're like, oh, I can't do more. Like you can do more.
If you think you can't do more, just go look at like a Tom Platz edit. Like king of
any compilation by Tom Platz.
Oh yeah. Get you run through a brick wall.
They would say like, oh, I can't do any more. Like it's not going to go up. Like if it's not going to go up, me and Cam are pushing the weight up for you, it will go up.
Yes.
So you're going to go until it's not going up, and we're not going to touch it until it starts going down. Yeah. So there's a lot more reps than they thought was going to happen.
It's a mentality thing.
It is.
It's like attack it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be in the gym. I feel like I'm kind of motivational and stuff like that, but it's like, all right, I'm going to go to work. Guess you're a salesman. Attack your calls. You don't got to scream at your desk, but be like, go at it with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when I was playing basketball in middle school, and like I needed to practice and stuff, apart from organized practice, my dad would say, "There's somebody else practicing right now, and you're sitting in your bed.
Yeah.
There's somebody else right now already shot 100 free throws, and you're right here."
Yeah.
And
What
it's
are
just
you
like you get that mentality, and like you're right. Like there's somebody out there training harder than me right now, and that gets in your head.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't.
Competitive mindset.
I didn't start getting really adamant about that mindset until I was in college and swimming, and I was like, oh, man, like there's people here. Like I'm not gonna let anybody train harder than me.
Yeah.
Whether they're faster than me, that's fine. I can accept that they're faster than me, that they're better than me, but I'm not gonna let them train harder than me. I'm gonna give it everything I have. If I'm slower still in the end, I'm satisfied with that. But as long as I'm satisfied with me training as hard as I can every session, I'm satisfied with that.
I feel like there's like two things. Like one, like with sports and athletics, that mindset is phenomenal. It's like you want to you want to be a dominant force on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, that's like a little bit comparing. Like when you're in the gym, like improvements and comparison's also the thief of joy. So you got to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I think what you see on Instagram and TikTok is glorified highlight reel.
Yeah.
You're seeing everyone's best shots. You're not seeing their worst
the best
shots.
Lighting. They had time to think about what they're gonna say. And
they do it for a living.
Yeah. You're always seeing their best self and not what they're doing outside.
It's like compare yourself to yourself. How were you yesterday? How are you going to get better?
Yeah.
And just piggyback off that.
Yeah. But you can have that same mentality, like not just for training hard and like knowing someone's training harder than you. Okay, if you're going to do social media, I'm going to be the best social media influencer. Like I'm going to work harder, whether I gain as much followers or attention as other people, that I can accept that, but as long as I'm trying harder than anybody else in my mind, I could accept that.
Do not be soft.
Whether it's sales, no matter what job you have, you can have the same mentality. And I think staying true to whatever mentality you have, don't let yourself like just okay today like I'll have an easy day today.
Yeah.
So,
you got two options. It's you either get better or you get worse. If you stay the same, it's just as bad as getting worse. It's complacency. Complacency is going to kill you.
Yeah. Well, I think we've hit a lot of big topics today. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Yeah. So if anybody made it this far, you want to tell them where they can find you?
Yeah. Right now, Shredded Realtor, possibly in the process of rebranding a little bit, but Cam Barrett, just look me out. If you find me, shoot me a DM, message, whatever. Love the community, love to be a impact for change. But Team JC.
Yeah. We're both on the same team for coaching, Team JC, which is Jen and Jordan, Cole and Cam. Yep. So if you also need coaching, you could find us, Team JC.
Absolutely.
There's a website, and then also be a link in the video down low.
Yep.
So thank you for listening, and we're gonna cut it out here. Peace.
Peace, y'all.